My 14-year-old, he kind of gets teased because his dad wears a red suit every single day. And I remember when I got home from the event that night, the highlight of my life, other than marrying my wife and my kids being born, is my daughter Shay and my son came up to me and gave me a huge hug, and they said, "Dad, I'm proud of you."
Hi, welcome to the Flat Bill Investors Podcast. I'm Josh Siglowski.
And I'm Zach Spencer. Today, we are happy to have you and happy to have our guest on today. I'm going to talk a little bit about our first guest. His name is, I'm going to save the name. He's a husband, a father, coach, investor, an Amazon best-selling author, philanthropist, sports fanatic, and he's kind of like Madonna or Prince. This is the Red Suit Realtor, you guys. He doesn't need a name. He is recognizable wherever we go. Red Suit, what's up,
This
man?
will be a good one because the people are going to be learning on how to build a brand.
How to build a brand. You just say Red Suit and everybody knows. It's this guy. I didn't even know your real name. I think it's Red Suit.
It's, you know what? Today I'm Flat Bill.
Flat Bill Red
Realtor.
Suit. Let's
Flat
go.
Bill. Yeah.
He's the Flat Bill Realtor.
Adapt to it. No, excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you being on. Love it. So
How long have you been the Red Suit Realtor?
So people ask me this all the time. I've been the Red Suit Realtor my entire life. Matter of fact, I had someone come up to me a year ago and he's like, "Hey, guess what? I'm going to be the Black Suit Realtor." And I was just sat there and I was like, "Cool.
do it.
And I said, "Have you been the Black Suit Realtor your entire life? Because if not, it's a gimmick." I mean, this is a gimmick. Literally, I wore the original for you guys.
This is your original Red
This is
Suit.
the original. This was a 2 a.m. purchase on Facebook. No joke. I was like, that red suit would be dope. I want to wear that to a Utah football game.
That's sweet, man.
That's where it started.
When you say your whole life, though, like, when did you get this then?
Yeah, so this is just like, what I mean by that is like, I am the Red Suit Realtor. When people think of red suit, when they see me out and about, I'm the same way on Instagram as I am in real life. Like, that's who I am to the core. This showed up about 7 years ago.
Gotcha.
And so the biggest thing is my coach, my mentor said, "You're being selfish. You've been doing real estate forever. Nobody knows who you are. Are you selfish?" And I was like, "Are you like, dang, that hurt." And he's like, "I don't see any of your stuff. Nobody knows who you are." Mark Evans called me out at Lions Den Live. And I was like, "Hey man, I loved that you write a book every year." And he's like, "Cool." He's like, "Where's your book?" And I was like, dang, man. So the next day I wrote my book called Suited for Real Estate Success.
You got it right here.
And so I talk about my story a lot in here, but I feel like your brand only works is if you are who you say you are, but not only by what you say, but what you do. So
Sure.
You definitely have to be fully committed to it too. You know, I'm sure when you started, branding it out, having your book, for people to know you, because I know myself, you get the haters and so you have to kind of push through, but then you kind of see on the other side, the good people that really want to support you.
I just heard,
what I mean?
as you were saying that, I heard Grant Cardone's voice. He's like, "You got to get yourself some haters."
Yeah.
Yeah, I just posted something about this today on my Instagram. I said, "Winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners."
Yeah.
And it's so true.
You've seen that video or the picture of Michael Phelps, and the guy in second place is looking at Michael Phelps, and Michael Phelps is just looking at the end. You go, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have haters, you haven't done anything.
For sure.
If you haven't had a lawsuit or somebody, you probably haven't done much. Like, it's just the name of the game.
Yeah.
Like, the more you do, the more exposure that's out there. And you just have to learn to live with that. And at the end of the day, it's a good problem to have.
Well, Scott, Red Suit.
We can cut that.
Sorry. It's over. We're done here. My parents named me after toilet paper. All right. So here's what, just to that point. If you don't brand yourself, somebody else will brand you.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I just said, you know what? My daughter actually came up with the Red Suit Realtor.
Did she really? That's cool.
I bought the red suit, and one day she helped me do the cover art. She's very talented, and she's like, "Hey Dad," I just got back from an open house. She's like, "Dad, you know that you're the Red Suit Realtor." And I was like, that's really that sounds good.
That's clever.
And I looked over at my wife and thumbs up or down because I commit. And she's like, "That's brilliant." She gave me the thumbs up. And so I've just ripped off of it ever since.
That's sweet.
That's good.
I know a lot of your story, and I want to make sure the audience knows, but what's kind of your ultimate goal right now?
Yeah. So I remember 10 years ago when my brother passed away. He couldn't walk. He had a disease called dystonia. So he couldn't walk. He couldn't
Called what?
talk. Dystonia.
Dystonia. Okay.
And it was a nasty, nasty disease. I mean, he was literally a human pretzel that could barely talk.
Shoot.
And I remember at his funeral, I looked up and basically I said, when he died, that's when I was going to start living, because the dead are forgotten very quickly. And I said, people aren't going to forget about you, because he made people smile. He didn't have much, but he made people smile. And so I said, Chad, I'm going to do two things. Number one, I'm going to honor your legacy. And number two, I'm going to make you proud.
That's awesome.
And he was the biggest BYU fan ever. And he was very, very different. And I'm very different too.
And somehow you're not the Blue Suit Realtor.
So that's actually really, really where the Red Suit Realtor resonates more than anything with me.
It's like an armor
was
almost.
to honor my brother's legacy. So I always say to people, if your why doesn't make you cry, it's not big enough.
For sure. And I always love hearing that story and what impact he's had on your life and how much you talk about it and share to many people. So I think I wanted definitely you to talk about that.
Yeah, it is amazing. So,
Yeah.
And I think that those kind of stories, like when you've got that catalyst, that moment that you go, okay, like in realizing that life is short. I mean, that's one of those things for everybody. I think we've all gone like, oh, like, I think for me, it's even looking at my kids. Sometimes you go, man, we only have like a few more years with our kids at home. Or I know Josh is in that position now. You're about to have your oldest kind of figuring out what to do with life.
Yeah.
And then having somebody who like shares that, I think is a good compliment to the conversation for
Yeah.
sure.
I'm a big person on the why, sorry. But I like in my gym, I have remember why you started. And you always have to kind of come back to that.
Yeah.
That's going to keep pushing you. And then it's almost like, and I saw Matthew McConaughey talk about this, that he's always just trying to be the guy in 10 years from now, in 10 years from now, in 10 years from now,
Well, and to that point, my brother, next month, it'll be 10 years.
10 years,
Wow.
yikes.
Yeah, 10 years. But, things change too the next 10 years. And my next why, obviously we talk about our kids all the time, and, they go through a lot, because I wear a red suit every single day. I all the time. I have some conditions. Date night with my wife, it's about my wife. It's not about the red suit. It's about her. Kids' sporting events, 99% of them are about my kids, not the red suit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember after the world's largest real estate bus tour that I hosted last year when you spoke at it, the highlight of my life is at the end of it, my oldest that's at home, I have a 20-year, but my 14-year-old, he kind of gets teased because his dad wears a red suit every single day. But then to see people like Josh and like Sean Whalen and Ryan Bowen and all these, guys talking about the red suit, and seeing my son watching these guys looking up to him talking about the red suit. And I remember when I got home from the event that night, the highlight of my life, other than marrying my wife and my kids being born, is my daughter Shay and my son came up to me, gave me a huge hug, and they said, "Dad, I'm proud of you."
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's sweet. Those are big moments. I like that. Yeah.
Definitely makes it worth it. I just spent, vacation, also learning in the Bahamas with our commercial mastermind group. And it was just my oldest son with me, who's 17, senior, going to be 18 here in the next little bit. And it's taken them to those things because, they definitely look at you much differently when they can kind of see on being just a genuine person, and people respecting you. And it definitely hits a lot of chords when I'm there.
Yeah.
I think I probably broke down 3 or 4 times and just said, I'm so thankful that you're here.
Well, that's one of those things that even for me, my oldest is 12, and I go, okay, how do we do something like that is just by example? Because like even when I met your oldest son was in Vegas at a mastermind we went to. And I'm like, what 15-year-old is like going to sit a whole day in a living room in a house with a bunch of like, adults that are talking about boring business stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like soaking it up. Like he wasn't like on his phone all day, all that. He was like taking notes, and you can just tell he's got this little fire. And I think that comes through example. So I can already hear that with your kids that are like embracing that and and seeing the brand you live, that's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, here's the thing. Like, people are so focused on how much money you make. I know so many people have so much money that are miserable.
I know.
How many amazing experiences with the people that you love? How many of those that you've had? You know, we just did that event with Chuck Liddell recently, teaching people how to throw a punch, BJ Baldwin. I mean, you were there. I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah,
like,
great
what a
people.
cool experience. We had helicopters. We had this little handicap boy because, you know, my brother's in a wheelchair. We helped him pull out a 20-pound trout in front of Chuck Liddell, BJ Baldwin, Sean Whalen was there. I mean, those are the experiences that you look back at. When you're 70, 80, you can look back at those experiences. So the question is, with the time that we have, how can you create so many experiences with the people that you absolutely love? And that is really the name of the game when it's all said and done, right? You have all this money, but you haven't done anything cool. What's the point?
Yeah. It's funny that you're talking about experiences. I have a friend, his name's Josh as well. And about a month ago, Imagine Dragons came into town. And I happened to have something where I was supposed to be in San Diego, and then they changed it last minute. But I told them I was going to fly home to go to that event, Imagine Dragons, and then fly back to San Diego. And he goes, "Why would you do that?" And I said, "Experiences, man. Because if I stay in San Diego, I'll have a different experience, but I want that experience."
Yeah.
And my wife will be there.
And based on the feedback, that was like one of his favorite nights.
Right.
It seems like he had the time of his life.
Yeah.
And so, Josh.
Yeah, that looked. I mean, I had that. I'm like, man, that looks like awesome.
I know. All of us had envy.
Look, here's the thing. Like, it's time management. I talk about this in my book. Everything's time management. How do you do so much? You're all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a men's group called B3, Believe, with Ray Cash Care, where we're teaching tactical training of these men. I've had death threats. I've had threats. People saying, "You absolutely mother effer. I'm coming at 2 a.m.
No way.
Yeah, it's just because I'm putting myself out there, right? And you get a lot of hate when you're doing stuff that people are afraid to do themselves. I've done nothing except for promote. Like, you're the ultimate go-giver. I mean, when I think of Josh, I think of the go-giver. I really do. And so when you give, that's the best way to build your brand, is by helping other people build their brand. But I get threats. And so I'm sitting there thinking, if somebody were to come into my house at 2 a.m, am I prepared? And so I partnered up with people that don't have the same skill set better than I do. That like, okay, now I'm prepared, because there's nothing more than to prepare my kids and things like that. So it's all about those experiences along the way. And you can't live in fear. You can't. People are, aren't you worried? And I said, look, do you want me to throw my life away living in fear? Or do I want to prepare myself and live and enjoy? And God has a plan. I think that's approach that we all have to have, because you can't live in fear.
Yeah.
Well, Sean Whalen, you know, when he spoke at that event last year, and he talks about you on what he's seen in you and being so genuine and stuff, and you're a very genuine person. I want to kind of hear a little bit of what you're doing with your son now, because you're checking him out of school sometimes and doing a flip.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't say it on the...
I might get arrested. I probably should. I'm pulling my son out of school, out of class during like math and stuff, and I'm taking him to my flips that we're doing. So a lot of times when I buy flips, I buy them in strategic locations. So he goes to school in Layton, and we just bought a flip in Clearfield. It's not the best deal in the world, but it's like 10 minutes from his school.
Yeah.
So I've literally been pulling him out and doing a father-son flip with my son.
That's so awesome.
And we're doing this in like 3 weeks. I'm actually supposed to be there today, but Josh sent me a text this morning saying, let's do it today. Let's let her rip.
Yeah.
My wife, who staging by Shalice, she's out there doing all the staging. She's blown me up 4 times.
Are you
but
as like,
son,
are you?
I pull him out of school and literally show him the numbers, and I'm paying him some money, and he's out doing yard work, and he's loving it. He's just like, Dad, let's get up in the morning. Let's go get to the flip. And he motivates me. Like, not a lot of people motivate me. My wife and my kids are like, what are we doing? Let's go get to the property. So that's been a really, really cool experience that I want to teach him. He'll learn more in this next month than he will his entire school of the entire process from A to Z. So when people call me out, I was telling you guys, I have 30,000 videos of fix and flips of everything I'm doing along the way. So when people are ready to call me out, let's go. You know what I mean?
Like,
it's invaluable education. And not only that, is the experiences that you're having with him, you know, and showing him the hard stuff that people don't see.
Yeah. And look, there's a strategy behind it too. If I take him after school, when he's got basketball, he's got his friends, he wants to hang out with them, I'm not going to have his attention. If I pull him from school, he's a lot more attentive because he's like, well, I'm either doing this with dad or I'm at school. My dad's pretty stinking cool. He took me out of school to go do that. So there's a lot of strategy too. It's not like people really don't understand. They don't understand sales. Like, let's get back to really the basis of all of this.
Yeah.
It's marketing, branding, and sales. Knowing when to say when, knowing when to ask people the right questions. And the biggest mistake that we all make is we don't know enough about people. Like, I know Josh, he has the record for the most interceptions in one game at Morgan. Weren't you a freshman or a sophomore?
The question's got to be, were you on defense or the quarterback? Because that's
defense.
That statistic can go both ways.
But here's my point when it comes, and if you take one nugget away from anything, we have a tool with social media. You can find out a lot about people, what's important to them, and then ask better questions. That's Mark Evans' T.
Yep.
Right? To ask questions, because once you find out what's important to them, then you don't even have to sell anything because you're just saying, oh, that's super important to you. Hey, we have this thing that might align with what you're doing here, like what we've done with the Commercial Academy. All these investors, they're like, I want to flip a home. Maybe you're not flipping isn't for you because I'm going to help 1,000 people flip a home.
Yeah.
Hey, how about we get you to 1,000 doors and start doing commercial?
Yeah, well, I want to pivot. Actually, that's a perfect segue into this, because I was going to say one thing that when you think about Red Suit, you think about like consistency. There's times that I see you on social media and I'm like, dude, he wears that suit everywhere. Like places that I would imagine you'd probably take it off.
He does have one though.
Okay, yeah, he does have a suit. Yeah, luckily it's not the same suit.
It's not. This is the OG right here.
The OG. He's got a couple.
50 Shades of Red. That's the next book.
That's a good book.
I'm about 20 red suits right now, but I'm very strategic. Used to I just buy them in bulk, and now I'm very strategic
about getting the right ones. So I want to pivot a little bit, and because you'd mentioned that you've got these pretty lofty goal, in my eyes, lofty. Knowing how consistent you are with those goals, I have no doubt that you'll hit them. But it was 3,000 goals. Tell us your 1,000 goal mission that you're on right now.
Yeah, I stole this idea from, I think it was Sean Whalen. He was like, I'm going to help 100,000 people. They're going to buy a subscription. Yeah. I was like, man, that's really, I like that. That's a clean number. I'm like, I'm going to help 1,000 people flip their first home, because I've been doing it forever. And really, when you talk about your own flips, people don't care. They're like, oh, you've been doing it forever. I can't do it. What if I help people? So I'm like, I'm going to help 1,000 people flip their first home. And I started a meetup group 3 years ago.
Sweeto.
You've been to it. Everyone knows it, right? Because I've just marketed it. I'm going to help 1,000 people flip their first home. So along the process, I've helped so many people flip their first home. And now that's involved of, gosh, there's only one me. There's only one Sweeto. I'm going to help 1,000 people launch and start their own meetup group.
Right. So
now we're shifting towards that. And you've seen it all in the community. A lot of these that you've spoke at are groups that I've mentored and helped these guys launch their own groups.
Right.
And so now I'm going to help 1,000 people flip a home. I've got a real estate team. I just joined a brokerage that's at Real, which is a national brokerage. So I'm going to help 1,000 agents invest and join our team. And then I'm going to get 1,000 doors. So 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. That's really where I'm hyper focused. I joined Commercial Academy last year. You threw that out there. Literally after I joined, a month later, someone presented me, hey, do you want to be part of a fund? And we can buy all these properties all over the country, in Kansas City, Vegas. And that's just moving and shaking. So it's crazy. Like, you have to throw it out to the universe first and take action, and then the results come later.
Totally agree.
What's your timeline on hitting those 3 goals?
You know what? Good question.
In 1,000 days.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm just curious.
It's a good question.
Here's the thing with goals, right? Because once I get to that, soon I might shift and say, no, we're helping 10,000. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Like, I think you just have to focus on that next step, and that next step. Like, I threw it out to the broker you got to follow him. His name's Sharon at Real. He's the broker of Real. He is awesome. He is amazing. And I was talking to him in Vegas 3 weeks ago, and I said, Sharon, by January 1st, we're going to have 1,000 agents on my team. That's a crazy goal. Crazy goal. He's like, my man, we already have over 100 agents on our team in like 3 or 4 months. it's going to spread. It's spreading like wildfire, but you have to throw out those crazy, lofty, that most people with a limited mindset would think unattainable goals. Not with me. I'm going big. World's largest real estate bus tour. So I've just lived that model in my life to go big, to really, really push, but you got to go for it. It's legit. It's going to happen. It's not when. It's not a matter if, it's a win for me.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, I have one kind of follow up to that is, as you're going and trying, hitting these goals and working on your, day-to-day branding, all the things you've kind of been mentioning, what's one kind of motivating factor, one mentor or a gold nugget that you've learned over the last, I don't know how many years, but something that consistently comes back to you that maybe somebody watching this could gain some insight from?
The biggest thing for me is that there is good in every single person that's out there. You got to find it. It doesn't matter if it's the guy that's the clerk at 7-Eleven. There is more good in a lot of those people than the people that you think have made it because they're allegedly crushing it on social media and they bought a lot of followers. There is so much good in every single person. So if you take that as, I'm going to go find what that is and I'm going to extract that and push them to share that with the world, and we all share that together as a team, that's the one thing I would say. Every single person you see, find that good and help them light like a flashlight in a dark space.
Yeah.
Like that is really what this world's all about.
Cool. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's even right before you guys got here, I was talking to our producer, Aaron, and he said to me, he goes, like, what type of people are you trying to get in front of right now? I'm like, you know what? It's kind of interesting because, and this is what your ability is too, is I just talk to everybody. Things will just happen if you see the good in people. And I echo that because just talked about it, and I think that's the direction a lot of us should make, instead of like, oh, I only get to talk to these guys, this specific group. You know?
But if you're looking for an opportunity with the clerk at 7-Eleven, something will present itself. So I love that. Just keep an open mind.
My biggest hard no with someone is if someone's a certain way on social media and in real life they're completely different. It's a hard no. You're out. I can't stand that person. And there's guys in the space that do that and run groups like that, and they're so full of it. And so I'm like, look, you can sit here and complain about it, or you can actually make an impact. And so that's why I've seen a lot of these men's groups that are out there, and I'm just like, really? And so I'm like, no, we're going to launch a men's group. And I'm going to be attracted to a lot of real estate people, and that's fine. But why not do something like that to attract just good people?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it opens up the community where like I'm connected with somebody like Josh at Commercial Academy. Let's get you plugged into that, right? So if you can be a really good pointer, right? Allocator, you're going to crush it. If you're not good at anything, be a good connector.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I think consistently through the guests we've had on this show. It seems like anybody who's sitting right here in this seat tends to be someone who's connecting dots, connecting people, giving, sharing. And I love that about what we're doing here even. Is that we're surrounded with that.
I've had friends that watch the show and stuff, and that's the stuff they like because they're actually leaving something and they're learning something they can do with their own life instead of just promoting something on some. Not all podcasts do that, but sometimes they do.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like Sean Finnegan's the best at it. Like Sean Finnegan is a G when it comes to connecting, and like I look up to people like him and what he's done, and he's created that path maybe a year, 2 years before. And now, and somebody like that, like your parents, they want you to be better. So he's always he's like my biggest out. You think the big dogs would be like, who are you? They're actually my biggest supporters. It's all the losers out here in the weed that aren't doing what you're willing to do. They're the most critical people. So you just can't focus on them. You just keep chasing. I always say it's like a train. Find those people like Sean, like Josh, like you, and follow them. And then you're in the middle, and then pull people along the way. You're that middle cart in the train.
Yeah.
And so you have to, because that holds you accountable.
You got some momentum there.
People helped me out along. They gave me a shot. So now it's my duty to help the next guy.
Yep.
And so when someone flips a home, there's no better feeling in the world when they're pissed off for 2 months, and I love helping people flip homes. And here's the main reason why. It's one thing when I do it, but I find out what happens. There's 2 types of people. There's leaders and there's not leaders. Because to flip a home, you have to solve hundreds, if not thousands of problems.
Sure.
How's your mindset solving those problems? Are you creating more problems or are you creating more solutions?
Yeah.
Then I know, okay, we did this on a flip here. Now on bigger deals, let's go do a big, massive project, because anytime something came your way, you found a solution. So I use it as a tool to help identify the people that I want to go to war with, if that makes sense.
Which is, I mean, in all reality, that's what it really boils down to. And you're doing a great job of it. It shows in your passion and the way you speak that this is something that's important to you. So in wrapping up, I'm sure people are going to see this and go, oh, how do I get a hold of Red Suit? How, if they want to, work with you, be part of that thousand goal, how can they get a hold of you?
Yeah. So just Red Suit Realtor on Instagram is the easiest way. And here's a little thing, just a little tip. If you want to get into somebody's space and they have a book out there, go read it. Then when you reach out to them, you say, hey, I just read your book, chapter 3 about that was amazing. All of a sudden, and I do that as a time management system. When there's random people that reach out to me, I don't know who they are. I'll be like, hey, have you read my book? And they're like, no. They want something. Hey, let's go to lunch. Cool. Have you read my book? If you're not willing to invest $15 and 2 hours of your time I wrote this at a 4th grade reading level, so I can understand it. But if you're not willing to put the time into it, and I don't know who you are, why should I sit down and go to lunch with you? So I use it as a time allocation system where read the book, and then after they've done it, then I'll go to lunch with them all day, because they've invested $15 in 2 minutes of their time.
So you heard it. What you need to do is get the book, read it, and then schedule some time with old Red Suit here. So
find them on Instagram.
I love it.
We'll put your stuff at the bottom of the YouTube channel as well, so they can have an easy way to get a hold of you.
Dude, we have loved. I mean, I've loved having you on. Yeah, like I say, your passion, it shines. It shows.
Yeah, I knew we needed to. You know, what's kind of funny as we're wrapping up is Red Suit and I met each other outside of Utah before we actually became buddies.
There you go. Where was that at? Just quickly.
Mark Evans.
Cleveland. Yeah, in Cleveland. Nice. We'll love it. Thank you so much for being on here.
Thanks,
and
bro.
we appreciate it, man. Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, without further ado, guys, invest in your future.
Invest in yourself.
This is the Flat Bill Investors Podcast signing off.